Well, welcome to this edition of Taz and Miss Gloria. I am Dr. Teresa Smith, Dr. Taz, and this is my mother, Gloria B. Smith. Miss Gloria, what are you looking at? Miss Gloria, this is her set. And now that we've started filming, it's like she's looking over to the right. I'm like, why are you looking over there, Miss Gloria? How you doing today, Miss Gloria?
I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm doing good, Mama.
Okay, good.
I had a few things that popped in my brain.
Oh,
this
God.
is never scripted. And so you guys get a chance to see the things that I ask her when they pop in my brain offline. And so I'm just going to jump right in. One of the things that crossed my mind today were several things. Let me give a little backstory. My mother's mother died before I was ever born. And so my mama used to always tell me the things that her mother said. She says everybody, my mama said da da da. And so I wrote a book about my mama saying. And so I'm still getting these lessons about what Grandmama said even now. And so I was thinking, and I think I want to start there. Out of all the lessons that Grandmama attempted to teach you in the short while that she was in your life, what lesson do you think has had the most impact on you?
Be yourself and stand if you have to stand alone. Be yourself, Gloria, and stand if you have to stand alone.
What does be yourself mean?
I was asking myself that same question this morning.
You couldn't answer, could you, Miss Gloria?
I couldn't answer.
I know.
Because when people tell me, be Gloria, I'm thinking, whoa, aren't I always Gloria? I was thinking about it this morning before you came. What do they say? What do they mean when they say be Gloria? Do they want me to take it higher? Do they want me to even it out? What do they want from me? Because when they say be Gloria, I'm handling something for them then. And if you call me and tell me, Ma, I want you to be Gloria. And then somebody else, something's going to take place, and you done told me to be Gloria. Well, then I got to become what? I got to become that hard, know-it-all, calm, collect, smooth talking to make it turn what it is you want me to turn. You want me to be Gloria. So sometimes I just don't know what it is.
Okay.
Now, because your dad had said, this is a little story, but it's true. Your dad we had bought some stuff for the church. You know what we bought for the church? And so your dad was trying to tell the company that I was going to come and I was going to do, and I was going to handle it. So they called me. Your husband been by and said, you're going to come and handle such a thing. And that you this and you that. I told him, hold it. My husband can't tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do and how I'm going to do it. And I believe I told the man, I want you to remember one thing when I get there. And I said, I know you're not going to worry about my race. I said, I know you're not that type of person. So we're not going to worry about my race. I said, you're not going to worry about my age. And I know you're not going to worry about my weight. And I popped my fingers. I said, I know what it's going to be. It's going to be my height. I said, but don't let that height fool you when I get there. Don't let it fool you now. Because I'll come to you and tell you how I'm going to handle it. Nobody else can tell you how I'm going to handle something. So I got there. When I got there that Saturday morning, I didn't go right away. I probably waited about a week and a half before I went. When I walked in the door that Saturday morning, the gentleman told that lady, that's her. He said, that's her. I thought, oh. And we just had a beautiful talk, and I handled the situation that needed to be handled because you know it's handled because it's at the church now. Just went smooth. And I guess I would be in Gloria because I've done cleared everything out the way. You're not looking at me because of my age. You're not looking at me because of my race. You're not looking at me because of my weight. So it has to be my height. But don't let this height fool you, though.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, it worked out beautifully, beautifully, beautifully. So, being Gloria, I don't know what people really expect me to do or how I'm acting at that particular time, really. But when they tell me, when anybody tell me, be Gloria, I'm coming to handle something. And they expect when I leave, it's handled for them.
Okay.
It's handled.
So you're saying that the biggest lesson that you learned from Grandmama was to be you.
Be me.
And then to stand. And like I said, what does being you mean? Because I asked that question because that's a question that people grapple with, that they grapple with. What does it mean to be you? Because sometimes society makes us think that we're not enough. And so people buy into what we see in the movies, the magazines, on social media. So they're trying to be their version of that person. And the thing that, I think hurts people the most, I'm going to be posting something later today, and I talk about being yourself. So I think it's always amazing how God kind of lines things up, because we didn't talk about this, but that was what was dropped on me, that I need to ask you, what was the biggest lesson that has carried you through life that Grandmama gave you? And then you say that, be Gloria. Again, what does that mean?
No.
Because lots of times people don't know who they are.
I know who I am.
But do you really, Miss Gloria?
I know who I am and I know what I can do.
But yeah, we know what you can do, Miss Gloria. But do you know who you are?
Maybe not. I might not know who I am.
Yeah, because
somebody might see something that I don't see in me.
Well,
and that's why they tell me, be Gloria.
Well, being able, now Miss Gloria can handle some stuff.
I can handle some stuff.
But Miss Gloria can handle some stuff. But again, there are layers to Miss Gloria, just like there's layers to all of us. So this thing about standing, what does that mean, to be able to stand?
Real simple. A lot of people have to have a group standing with them. They have to have somebody behind them or beside them or over to their right or their left for them to stand. Most times, I'm standing by myself. Whether I'm going against somebody, whether I'm trying to make something happen for somebody, or whether I'm just plain Glory, doing for myself, I'm standing alone. I'm standing alone. But now, she probably had to tell me, Glory, stand if you have to stand by yourself. If we were making a motion on something, everybody else might vote for it, and I stand against it. Everybody else might vote against it, and I'll stand up. Won't raise my hand. I'll stand up for it. Because stand for what you see to be right. Don't go everybody, what did you call it? The flow.
Go with the flow.
Don't go with the flow. Stand for what you see to be right and what's going to benefit everybody. But most time when people is voting on something, if a certain person or a certain man or a certain woman or a certain this go forward, then the group will go forward. That might not be the better choice. And if it's not the better choice, I'm going to stand by my little lonely and let you know that's not a good idea. And I want us to think about that for a while.
Miss Gloria, what gives you the
I know what you're going to say. I don't know. Sometimes I hear it. Sometimes it'll flash across. And sometimes I see it. I told you the sister the weekend. I told her, this is not it. This, when we were having that event, I told her, this is not it. I said, because I don't see it. I said, I'm standing here looking at it because I'm going to put it together for you. But still, my mind is not, I don't see it in my head. And once I see it in my head, I tell you, this is it. So she had to run back to her. She had to come back into the house because I couldn't get her on the internet because she had to go back to work for a while. So when she came back, I had to change it around. She walked in and said, "Oh, Mom, this is so pretty." I told her, I got to see it first. And if I can see it in my head, I can do it.
Now, that standing, you talked about sometimes it's a feeling, sometimes you see it, sometimes he tells you, sometimes it's a flash. So you know that is what, that's the way you should lean.
I know that's the way I should go. Because now Ma always said, when that happened, she said, God is telling you, Glory. He's telling you then, and you need to jump on board because God's got you then.
Now, you always used to say to me, since you said it that way this time, do you remember what you used to always tell me that Grandmama said?
God is that first voice that speaks to me.
The first voice.
And she said, he's that first voice. And she said, he's not going to holler at you. He's not going to scream at you, Glory. He's going to be real quiet. But you better follow that voice.
Now let me take you somewhere that I've always been taking you. But this is you said it. Now you should know immediately when I start speaking. I used to say to Mama that Grandmama got these sayings from the Bible. You just said now that because she always told me that the first voice. Grandma said that the first voice is God. But she said it differently just now. He's gonna speak softly.
He speaks softly.
And you need to be listening, and you got to heed.
Got to hear.
Job. You know where I'm going with it?
Job.
God had been talking the whole time.
He's been talking the whole time.
But he was being drowned out because it's a soft voice.
It's a soft voice.
And all them people around Job saying what he had to have done wrong for him to have been a man after God's own heart, and now he just downtrodden.
That's right.
But God was speaking. But he couldn't be heard.
For his friends talking so loud, telling him what he had done wrong.
Yeah, why?
Why curse God and die.
All that stuff, all the noise. And so what I want you guys to get from that is, which is what Grandmama was telling Mama, but Mama didn't realize it the way I'm going to say it. They're going to be people in your life. People that you are connected to, people that you're not connected to, people that just come through your life. Because we have a lot of people that pass through. But they got mouths. Yeah, they noisy, Mama.
They noisy.
They noisy people. And if you get hung up on their noise and what they're showing you that it seems like it's all good, all there in the bag of chips, you will lose your direction. And your blessing will be right there. The turnaround is right there. But you can't hear God speaking. And he will be giving you specific instructions. But you can't hear it because you got all these people that you think are somebody. Literally, you think they somebody. And they think they somebody.
They do.
But they're your detractors sometimes, and they're pulling you down, but you don't realize it because you can't stand. You don't know who you are. She said, understand who you are. You are Gloria. And then you have to be able to stand. And I said, who is Gloria? Mama don't like to answer the questions in my book. That's because I know she didn't have to answer for that either. Because it's not such a simple question. Several weeks ago, when you see this, I was doing Real Talk with Taz and Angelia. And I started mentioning this at the event on Saturday, but I said in that live that I am Teresa. And I want you to understand what I'm saying. Because you are the only one that can possibly get it, because you've known me the longest. And you know the most about me, but not everything.
That's true.
I have 4 degrees, but the degrees don't make me. Money don't make the man. Degrees don't make the woman. I am Teresa. There is a difference between Teresa and Dr. Smith. There's a difference between, she's most definitely. Most definitely. There's a difference between Teresa, Dr. Smith, and Dr. Taz. But who I am at my core, even if I didn't have the degrees, is Teresa. It's the little girl that laid back, because I'm at home, guys, who laid in that bed and cried, who saw the world differently, who wanted an answer, who God finally gave her an answer to a question. It's the little girl who grew up and who's living out what God's plan is for her. That is Teresa, and that is what you see through Dr. Taz. So when it comes back to who is Teresa, I know who Teresa is.
I do too.
She ain't lying.
I do too.
Because, Teresa ain't no joke.
I know Teresa.
Because Miss Gloria, like I said, I know Miss Gloria. Y'all don't know Miss Gloria. Y'all get a little bit of Miss Gloria. But Miss Gloria and Teresa are very similar. We really are. And I've said said that before, but my mind is moving quickly because God moves quickly when I'm thinking and he's telling me something. We're very much alike. Miss Gloria lost her mother when she was 17 or 16, would it be, Mama?
17.
She would have been 17. And my grandmother died when my mother had just turned 17, and then she graduated from high school a couple months later. I was sexually abused at the age of 4. I had a loss. We all have trauma responses. Mama's trauma response, she's not ready for this, but Mama's trauma response has been her whole life. The way that she moves, the way she operates. Mine was too. Because I decided there were certain things that would help me. My family were very pro-education. They've always been. And so education was always going to be a part of my DNA because it just was. So I went hard in education. But I went hard in other stuff too because I learned it from my mother. I then learned that some of those were trauma responses. Great things, but they were trauma responses. So that's how I dealt with the pain. And you see, Miss Gloria, she may get it, we'll talk offline. She may have it for a moment, but then she won't have it long. And the reason being is because she's been in that trauma response for many years. See, God started waking me up out that trauma response about a decade ago. And I still struggle with it. But I know that I made the right decision because great stuff, love it. But I'm no longer that little girl. Even though I am that little girl, I don't need that now to help soothe me. Let me say it that way. Some people use drugs, alcohol, sex, whatever. I use organizations. I use education. Those things soothe me because my mother was always pro-organizations because she was involved in everything and she wanted to make sure, as most parents do, that we had every opportunity. Because I grew up in not a very rural area, but I grew up in a rural area. So therefore, there weren't a lot of extracurricular activities. So the extracurricular activities that there were, my mother made sure I was involved in them. So that meant I was always in a leadership position, which is great for my job, my real work. It's great. But for me, it's like, who are you? And I constantly search with it. I constantly go back and forth with it because there's a friend of mine calls the bounce back the backslide. Mm-hmm. Because in the bounce back, I was sick for 4 months. I was out of work. And then I keep backsliding because I don't be doing right, meaning take care of me. But that's trying to get over what has been a trauma response. Mm-hmm. And so that's the reason I said we are so much alike. And that's the reason we don't sit horses sometimes. If y'all don't know what that means we be at each other's throat. Because when you imagine that you're dealing with yourself, and I'm no nonsense, but Mama is too, and I'm not gonna buy into that. I'm not gonna let her go there because I don't let myself go there. So we ain't gonna play that game. I might let her talk about something about 10 minutes. I don't want to hear that no more. And she talked about it today when we talk. We're not going to keep talking about that every time I call. Because, see, to me, that means you're putting yourself in a hole and you're bringing yourself down. It's not your circumstances. It's you because it's how you choose to deal with it. So, again, when he said to me, what is the biggest lesson? And so to hear you say, be Gloria, and then stand if you have to stand alone, that's what you have imparted in me. And I thank my siblings. I don't want to try to say which one got and which one didn't because they'll get mad. But that's what that's what you imparted in me. And it's not an easy road when you have to stand alone. It's not. Because that means people look at you strange. For whomever may hear this, people will look at you strange. You won't fit in. And even you won't realize why you don't fit in. Because it's taken me years to understand why I don't fit in. I'm not made like them. I've had different experiences, and people should be able to accept me for who I am like I accept them for who they are. Nobody is perfect, and I should not be made to feel that I'm less than in order for you to feel more than.
Mm-hmm. That's what they're trying to make you do, though. They were trying to make you feel less than, to make themselves look, that they are more than what they are.
And they're not. You're probably both at the same place.
You are.
But like I did in one of my Taz moment, I think I called it, it's like that ego booster. You exist for them as an ego booster. You're stroking their ego. And in the way some people have you stroking their ego is they keep trying to push you down. See, you ain't good enough. Oh, look at what she wearing. Oh, look at her hair. Why she got her hair looking like, oh, she'll never get her nails. What? pushing you down so that they feel like they are superior. Well, if somebody's got to do that, it could be your man, your man, your woman, your friends or whomever. If they've got to make you feel less than, they're not for you. They're not part of your tribe. You remember we used to talk about your balcony people. You gave me the book.
I most definitely do.
I don't be forgetting, Mama. Because me and Mama been going back and forth on this stuff my whole life. Many decades. The balcony people, and the book was talking about you didn't have enough balcony people, and you think about it now, the balcony's up. You didn't have enough people cheering you. You had more people in the dungeon, in the cellar, trying to pull you down than you had balcony people.
That's true.
You see, so we didn't talk about it that way then, but you see what I'm saying?
Oh,
we talked about it.
We talked about it, but I talked about it to somebody else when I had to talk to them when I was going to school. And they wanted to come in and wanted everybody to come in and have a conversation with them, and they wanted to know, Miss Gloria. I told him, yes, sir. He asked me about the book. Have you ever heard of the book, The Balcony People? I told him, yes, sir, I should have. And he says, how many people do you have in your balcony? I thought for a few minutes. I said, well. I mean, that gentleman probably thought, oh my God. What is she going to I told her, I said, well, my mother's in my balcony. Miss Clemens in my balcony. My brother's in my balcony. And I called Sister Delane. I said, Sister Delane is in the balcony for me. I said, my daughter Teresa, I said, I think she's in that balcony cheering for me because she said, Mom, you can do it. He said, nah, okay, that's good. And he looked at me again. I met Gloria. I told him, yes, sir. How many of those people are alive? I said, just one. And he said, who is that? I said, my daughter, Teresa. And you don't have anybody else cheering for you? I'm going to get hollering because I've been crying this morning for some crazy reason. So I guess I'm really tired. I said, no, I do not. I said, I associate with a lot of peoples. But do they want me to be successful? No. No. I said, but I got one main person that's in the balcony, and they're cheering me on. He probably thought, oh, here she go. I said, Jesus, he's got me. I said, Jesus got me, and he had me a long time. And as long as he keep cheering for me, I'll be okay. I'll be okay. He said, okay, then, so you okay? I said, I'm just fine. So the teachers start telling the students, you know, I was a little bit younger than most of the students. I was younger than they were. Y'all are going to be so glad that you have Miss Gloria in this class with you. Because she is going to pull y'all through. And I think it was you who told me. I was late getting to class one morning, and they had the computer class was already over. And I asked several them children, I'm going to call them children, what had taken place in the class that morning. Nobody made the class that morning. And you told me then, Ma. So when I got home, I called you. I says, I'm trying to find out what took place in the computer class because I was late getting to the class, and the next class had started, so I had to go to my second period class or whatever you want to call it. So you said, Ma, you having them children with their work, aren't you? I said, you know, I don't like to see people struggle. You told me then, don't you help another soul, Ma. Do not help anybody else with their classes or with their study, because you know some of those people in that class made it to that computer class. They just don't want you to be ahead of them. They see that a young girl, I'm a young girl, y'all. They see that this young girl is going to surpass them, and they just not going to have it. No problem. I still came out, whatever that little name of that little sorority. I still made the sorority and the dean list.
And that's when Miss Gloria was, you got a social degree, didn't you, Mama?
Yeah, when I went.
When she was at the community college, and she got her associate's degree. Because again, and she was a young girl going back to school, getting that degree.
Well, I've been to school 100 times. I started in school when I was like, I went to the Job Corps. Probably when I was about 18 and a half, I went to the Job Corps. And the Job Corps came out from under, I'm thinking it came out from under Winston-Salem State.
Okay.
I'm thinking they the one that, what is it usually called? The Youth Corps? Job Corps? Whatever it used to be. But anyway, when they held those classes, I took secretary and filing and dean.
Oh, so you took that through that?
I took that through that course.
Okay.
And then I took the nursing through the old Anson, the old Anson Tech. I was looking at some of those little things. I took that through them. And then I went back through, once again, South Piedmont and took the nursing again. But I couldn't do the nursing. I took it. I graduated from it. But the instructor told me, this is not something you can do because you get some. I did it though. I passed with flying colors. I made my grade. But I just couldn't stand to see those people suffering like that. It was too much for me.
We are very...
I might have to step out the door and cry or something. She said, oh my God. But
empathic.
I couldn't take it. I couldn't take it. But now, if somebody's at their house or something, I happen to be there, and they say, Gloria, can you help me with this or that? I'll help you. I'll help you, but just for me doing it, I couldn't do it. Because she told me, oh, you just really get upset. I told her, it just bothers me. I can't do that. But now I can help you do it, though. But don't let me be the lead person, but I can do it, though. But yes, now the balcony peoples, I don't have a lot of peoples in my balcony. I guess you said you had many aunts and cousins and brothers and sisters and this and that. I have a lot of people in my balcony. Because as I was growing up, I don't know what it was about me. I was thinking about that too. I said, oh, what is it about you? Most parents wanted their daughter to be like me. What am I doing? Is it because I'm a junior usher? Is it because I'm a Sunday school attendant? Is it because I'm on the gospel course and the gospel course travels, We travel. I was on the choir that traveled without coming up. What is it they want? And it was not my problem that their child was not on there.
I think about, the person. You'll know the person. I'm trying to think because she just lost someone. But her mother had wanted her to have your legs.
Yes,
so
I wanted my legs.
So you know who I'm talking about. But I think that each of us are born into the world with gifts. And I think that with our human eye, when we see people, we know there's something there, but we don't know what it is. Let me just tell you what just dropped on me. I hadn't even thought about this. I met on Saturday at the event for Daddy. I met my first cousin's grandbaby. It's something about that baby. And we've not had a conversation. But we've had no conversation about this. It's something about that baby. It is something about that baby. I don't know what it is. He was sitting there. I didn't know who he was at first because, of course, I never seen him. And then my aunt got up to say something. It was my daddy's 80th birthday celebration we were having, and so forth. And so my aunt got up to make a comment, and so she was waiting, and I was emceeing the event, and so I'm like, and so he grabbed my hand, and he grabbed my finger. I said, oh, he's strong, and I'm just looking at him. And I'd had the conversation with somebody said on our live about his dad even like people to talk baby talk to them. And so I caught myself because I was about to go say, and I was just like, well, hi. I'm like, what are you doing? I said, you are just so sweet. And I'm just talking to him. And then I kept talking to him.
Mm-hmm.
And then he started to smile. I said, I see you trying to smile there. And I just kept talking to him. And then he actually really did smile.
Mm-hmm.
It was hot in the building. Literally hot in the building. The baby, I never heard that baby cry.
He did not. He did not.
He never cried.
No, he did.
After it was over with, they had taken this little top off because it was hot in there. He won't cry then. It was something about him. And I said to my cousin, I said, when I see him again, he'll be a big boy because I don't see them often.
Mm-hmm.
He'll be a big boy. But it was something about him.
Oh.
It was something about him. It was almost like he was an old soul.
Okay.
And it was almost like it was somebody I knew.
But it was almost like the little fella knew me because I asked, because they asked me, they said, you're not going to stop and speak to your nephew. You know, because we were moving like thunder and lightning. So I stopped and I took his little finger. I said, is the boy or girl? I said, hello there, cutie. And they just smiled and smiled and smiled. I thought, wow. Wow.
It's something about him.
This little thing, and it had to be hot too because, as you said, it was really hot in there. Your dad told me you put all them tables over the vents.
Yeah, he was just telling me that a little while ago.
That's what he told me.
That's what he was just
You
telling
put
me.
all them tables on.
And everything with the curtain was over the little.
Yeah, but
he told me all that.
you put all that over the vents.
He was telling me just a minute ago.
Yes, that's what he told me. He told
Maybe
me
yesterday.
Yesterday. He said, you covered up the vents. That's why I thought, see, I left the air on and it was chilled in there.
I had to finally say, where them fans at? Wait a minute. And somebody reached me a fan. Cause I'm like, where the fans at? They were hot. But it was something about, and I haven't thought about it, and we've not discussed this. It was something about that baby. And when I look at him, so you may say, okay, Teresa, when you did it, no. When I look at him, this is going to be eerie, because I can be eerie. It's like, peace, be still. When I look at him, I see calmness. When I look at him, I feel at ease. I feel at ease. It's something about him. I don't know who he is, who's been reincarnated. I don't know what God wants to happen for him and who he has to impact. And I've not said this to my cousin, so if they ever see this, they're going to know who I'm talking about. But it's something about that little baby. Something about baby A. Something about baby A.
Because mostly when a baby meet a stranger,
they never seen us before.
They just don't never take to you just that quick. You know, you might reach, because, it was a baby at the church a couple weeks ago. I'm so sorry, but we don't have babies in our church. But the thing about it, in Sunday school, they had mentioned that we don't have babies crying in our church. And, what do you believe? Sunday school, maybe 2 hours later, somebody stepped in with a baby. I didn't try to reach for the baby because somebody else reached for the baby and the baby cried, start crying. They had to get me crying. So I didn't bother myself. I thought, I'm not going to get that child crying because I've never seen it before. But for that little person on Saturday.
Andre?
That's the name, Andre?
I think it's Andre, named after his father.
Okay, I said, I didn't know his name because you're telling me his name now. But they said, you're not going to speak to him because you're not moving. I stopped, hello there. Oh, you are so cute. And they just smiled. They just gave a big, ooh.
He smiled. He just started out smiling.
He just started out smiling. I thought, it missed something.
It's something. And I use him because that just happened. It literally just happened. We've not had a conversation about it. And so we guys have been two or more or in agreement. He has to be in the midst. There's something about that baby. And I think there'd be something about all of us that people see.
It is.
And they don't always understand
what they see.
But I always believe it's the God in us. And it's reflected different ways. And so if somebody was saying, like I know the person that you always talk about, they want their daughter to have your legs. And if somebody want my daughter to be like you, they see something good. But just as people see something good,
you can see something bad.
They can see something bad.
Can see the bad in you too.
And then people do things to derail you. So again, this thing about knowing who you are, being able to stand, because I think about Peter. Peter wasn't able to stand because Jesus said, "You're going to deny me 3 times before the cock crow." He said, "I'm not going to deny you, Jesus." But he denied him. He couldn't stand. And understand, he walked and slept and ate with the Messiah. He served with him, and still he couldn't stand. So when you talk about being able to stand, it's not an easy thing.
It's not an easy
and as
thing.
I tell Mama and Jay and I, we talk all the time, the Mama says are not just about your personal life. It's about your work careers, and it's everything. Because you have to have principles that you can then build a foundation and then stand on.
And people you might meet on the street.
Oh, yes.
Just people that you come in contact with, and you don't even know them. But if you listen to what Mama's saying or read them, it'll kind of and take in what they're actually saying. Take in go a little bit deeper. Go deep, and think, oh, she was saying this or she was saying that. I know what that woman was trying to say. You might be just right. You know what I mean? Because it's not a superficial something that she was trying to say. It's a deep something that she was trying to say. And I tries to live by that. And when something goes, didn't I say it over there Saturday?
You did say something.
I said something. I said, oh, I had to stop myself and remember what my mama said. Then I made a turnaround. Because if you get to moving so fast, I might mess around and forget what she not forget it, but not pull them.
It won't be
not
the
pull
forefront.
them. Well, not pull one to the forefront of my mind to handle that situation. Yeah, but it hit me. One hit me over there. Said, "Oh, Mama said." Then I turned around. It went in the opposite direction. But so you have to because things can happen fast,
They do.
and you might not be able to pull one of them up. But if you can pull one of them up, and if it's not even the one that's suiting the situation that you're in, it'll still help you.
Oh, it surely will.
It'll still help you.
Oh, gosh, it will. Now, I'm trying to go back, Miss Gloria, because that was one of the questions. Now I want to ask you a philosophical question. She just loves it. She said, you see how this is how it be. If we know what you said, the most important lessons that you think Grandmama was instilling in you, be Gloria, and be able to stand on your own. What, having now lived blank number of decades, what lessons have you learned on your own that you wish she had prepped you for beforehand? If she did not prep you, because she could have prepped you, but you didn't understand it.
She could have prepped me, and I didn't understand it. I don't think she prepped me. She prepped me on don't play with people, because and don't play with men, boys, or women, or girls, whatever you want to be, because sometimes they are beating you up. That man is really abusing you, and he's laughing and smiling with you,
and you laughing with
and you laughing and just
she hit me. She really meant that people be hitting you.
They are not joking with you. They are really hitting you. And if somebody tell you some little jokes about yourself, they not joking with you. They mean that. So that has stuck with me. But now, and she said, take them down, y'all. My mom was a good Christian lady, but she said if they hit me and they plan that they joking me, Gloria, you better lay them down. Because that's really what they're trying to do to you. They're trying to lay you down, but they're doing it in a joking way. But they're not joking with you.
What them
somebody running up in my face.
Said, wait a minute, what them skillets said. So
oh yeah, she was bad with it. I wore heels. I wore the block heels when I was going up. Take that shoe off and beat their brains in fast, and then step away. Pick up a pot or a pan and lay them down with it. And when you swing for the place to lay them down. You got me, Gloria? I'm not going to tell you what it is. Lay them down. If you don't swing from there, bust their nose. And they going to still stop for a little while. I got all that. Somebody just just harassing you and harassing you and harassing you. Shh. She did tell me what to do. She did tell me what to do. But maybe you kind of think like, oh, I can't do that. Then you come back to, oh yeah, I got to do this. I think a few weeks ago, it might have been last month, when I was on here and I said, oh, one of those things that she had told me to do, I couldn't do it because I was on the phone.
Oh, yeah.
I was on the phone, so I said it.
Mm-hmm.
So I said it to them.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't been bothering them over there.
Okay.
I said it to them. But now, if I'd have been there, they would have been confronting me face to face. I knew what to do. I knew how to handle them. But remember, I'm young. I'm 100, y'all. You know that 10. You know, I'm 100. I've been 100 for a long time. I've probably been 100 for 20. I've probably been 100 for about 20 or 30 years.
At least. Because she was, well, you're 25 or 28, Mama, for you. She was either 25 or 28, and so when I got to be I think she was 28. So when I got to be 28, I said, somebody gonna have to budge off that number. Because I said, I'm 28 now, so somebody gonna have to budge off that number. So now Mama says she's 100. She's not 100, but she said.
Mick, you don't get around like 100. You don't look like you're 100. Somebody told me that at church a few weeks ago.
Oh, did it, Mama?
Miss Gloria, how old are you? I'm 100. Miss Gloria, you're not 100. I'm 100, and kept right on walking. I'm 100.
Well, yeah, she's not 100, but she had to let go of 28 because I was 28. And the funny thing, I have never been holding at a number.
Okay.
I didn't hold at a number.
You might be to hold at a number.
Well, if I'm going to hold it, when it's going to be 35.
Okay, hold at 35.
Because most people say, oh, you look 35.
Hold at 35.
I'm holding at 35 now then.
See, I had to move on up from 28.
Yeah.
So I went up to 100.
Okay.
And I've leveled out.
You leveled at 100. Okay.
But then I asked the Lord, well, Lord, if you want to, I can live 120.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, we'll take it at 120, Lord. Please, Jesus. Please, Lord, we'll take it at 120.
Because I don't think people should be asking you your age. I don't ask people their age. So why are you going to be asking me?
That's because she's been 28 forever. Mm-hmm.
I ask nobody their age. I ask nobody how much they weigh. But now people are asking me. So you see, I had to draw the line in the sand there. I'm 100. And somebody might say, Miss Gloria, you've been 100 for a long time. How would you been 100 about 30 years? Yes. So don't ask me, because you know I'm 100.
Yes, ma'am.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is none of their business how old you are. It is none of their business how much you weigh. Oh. Thank you, Jesus. My little word almost came out.
Oh, I did your word in the last show. Mama has the word, so let me go ahead and clear this up since we're in person. We're in person. Mama has this word. It is called Blackie. And when we were on last time, I just said Mama's word. I'm like, all right now, Blackie. Blackie can mean many different things, okay? And so when Mama was saying, when I said it that particular time, she had said something and I was enjoying it. It's like when I say, preach black woman, preach, that's Jamal Bryant, preach black man, preach. And so I was saying to people, oh, preach black woman, preach white woman, whatever. And so anyway, so Mama was saying something really good, and I was like, all right now, Blackie. And then as soon as I said it, I thought, well, they may not understand Blackie. Blackie is Mama's word. Now, Mama says Blackie. She means that has many different connotations when Mama says Blackie. Their phone is ringing here. And like I told Mama, I am right tired of their phone be ringing here when I'm here trying to record. You would think it would stop ringing. It has been ringing now for about 90 seconds, and it's still ringing. Anyway, so when Mama says Blackie, it can have many different connotations. And sometimes it is not a nice connotation. But let me say this too, since I'm on this, because it may come out at some point. When I was growing up, and you're going to remember this, Mama, because we talked about it. People, I didn't grow up hearing people say the N-word.
I didn't either.
And so I don't know why I was asking Mama about this, and I was in elementary school because I wasn't in high school or junior high school. And my mama said to me, you may have forgotten, my mama said to me that the N-word has nothing to do with the color of my skin.
Nothing whatsoever.
She said it has to do with how I behave, my character.
It does.
And so that's what I grew up with. It was about the person's character. Mm-hmm. It was never about their skin, their ethnicity, their race. It was never that. And so I don't go around saying the N-word, but it's never been about that because that's not the type of home I grew up in. I was taught to respect people. And, I think I said that last one, treat people as you had them treat you. But like I told Mom, I said when I was a little girl, like they be treating me bad, so they want me to treat them bad. No. And she told me, no, baby, that's not what they want. I said, well, you said in the Bible, go to the roof, do unto others, and you had them do unto you. I said, why they keep doing me bad then? Because they obviously want me to do them bad. No,
they don't. Well, they do me bad, and they do me out. They always done me
I know,
bad.
but
if
you follow the golden rule,
I stuck to that golden rule. I stuck to it.
If you follow the golden rule, I'm not telling y'all to go to golden rule when I was a little girl, but it said do unto others as you would have them to do unto you. So my thing was, you obviously want me to do bad to you because you treating me bad. But that's how people manipulate you. I'm going back to that manipulation and gaslighting. You think it's okay to treat me bad, but you want me to treat you like you are a king or a queen. Something ain't right there, baby.
It's still do it.
Oh, I do, because that's
you're being mistreated.
That's what it means to turn the other cheek, Mama. Because you see, people talk about that when I was growing up too. Turn the other cheek. What does that really mean in real actual life? Because you turn the other cheek.
And they slap you on one side.
Turn the other cheek.
And then you turn the other cheek, and they slap you on that side.
So, what that means is when people putting you down, when they knocking you down, they talking trash about you, they trying to take your man. They done took your man, because I done started watching this wretched TV. I've never been into wretched TV. That's what Unjay calls it. But there's a show that I like. I'm enjoying it. There's two of them. I'm on them now. Because I'm learning some good stuff. I had gotten away from the gossip, so therefore I had missed out on how stuff had got to be. So I'm on it now. So again, they taking your man taking your whatever, all this different stuff. Just keep turning the other cheek. You turn the other cheek when that happens.
Gonna get tired
they do. They're gonna be just as red as mine is. But that's what we're taught to do. But also in all of that, as I begin to bring this to a close, because I can see how he was weaving this. You have to know who you are.
Know who you are.
And when you know who you are, you can turn the other cheek and you can get up and walk away too.
Okay. And you can see and you can not see and you can hear and you can not hear. Now, Mom always told me that. Well, you're going to see a lot of stuff, but don't see it. You're going to hear a lot of stuff, but don't hear it. Don't hear it now. But you're going to know it, but you're going to know how to react by what you have seen and what you're going to hear, but you still going to react like you don't know it, though. And you're going to be knowing it all the time.
But, the monkey will see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. But why do we have to, now I'm going back to what Grandmama said, because we haven't had this conversation. But why should we see it and not see it? Why should we hear it and not hear it?
Because it's going to cause too much friction.
Okay.
It's going to cause too much friction. Okay.
Let me go.
Go ahead.
I want to go a different direction.
Go ahead.
Because I believe everything is biblical.
It's biblical. It's biblical.
Because remember, we are the vessel.
We are the vessel.
We the vessel. So I see everything. I hear everything, but I cannot let everything that I see and everything that I hear reach my heart.
Reach your heart.
Because you see, that God, Jesus, they live in us. We Christian people here. I'm spiritual.
Jesus,
but he lives in us, and if we let everything that we hear get into our heart, into our eyes, we let it go down here, then we are going to become twisted. We are going to abort our own progress, our own future, our own purpose, because we have become so overwrought with what's going on in the world that he cannot he's in us, but he's fighting to get through, and we are like Job, but we're the inward Job, if that makes sense. We're prisoners within our own body because we've let too much junk in. And we have to guard our eyes, we have to guard our ears, because all of that's impacting who we are. So when I think about what you're saying, I'm thinking about it more from that perspective, because I always said to her, I believe Grandmama took her sayings from the Bible, and it was like a Sunday school lesson, but she wasn't doing it Sunday school wise, but it was her way of trying to instill those lessons, those principles in you in a different way. And we do the same thing now with our kids.
I'm going to tell you one thing that she did take from the Bible. Because the other day I had thought about it. Gloria, go find it. You know, I've read the Bible. I can't begin to tell you how many times I read the Bible through and through. But I'll know that I read it, but I'm not a scripture quoting person like most people are. I'm not. But I went back and I found it. And what she had told me to always say, Gloria, when you were planning to do something, always say, if the Lord let you live, keep your health and strength, and stay clothed in your right mind. I'll do it. I'll do it. Now, it's in the Bible, but it's not exactly the way that she said it. Give me that Bible over there. But it's in there. Because I had forgotten where it was at. And I thought, go back and find that word.
But you know, that is so important, Mom. I just thought about it because, you know, we're also taught that in everything, and we're taught that in everything, which part of it is it, Mama? I mean, I'm looking at it.
And you see, I'm looking for my
But that's okay, Mama.
I got it marked there. It's right up there. Isn't that it? Now, it's not exactly the way that I say it. What is it?
That's not it. That's not it, Mama. But I don't think that's it. Because what you got me, you will do right if you obey the most important law in the scripture. It is the law that commands us to love. Oh, that's not it.
No, that's not it. Oh my God. I'm going to have to find it again because I marked it, but I marked.
Oh, maybe.
Here it is.
That's it right here. This is probably it.
Here it is.
But let me say this. Oh, this is it. This is probably it. But let me say this. I forgot what I was going to say. You know, my mind goes like that. We're taught to include God, because I never thought about it, because I've heard her say this my whole life. But what came to me, we're taught that we should invite God into the presence of everything that we do. And by you saying that, you are automatically inviting him in. Mm-hmm. And that keeps him at the center. But I never thought about it until you said it just now.
Because if he don't let me live, I'm not going to do such and such a thing for you tomorrow.
No.
I'm not going to do such and such a thing for myself tomorrow. But it's if he let me live and keep my health and strength. Now, she might have put a word. If he let me live and keep, Lord, let me live and keep my health and strength. Stay close in my right mind. I'll be there.
I'm going to read the whole scripture the way it is. This is James, the 4th chapter. And we're going to start at the 13th verse. You should know better than to say today or tomorrow we will go to the city. We will do business there for a year and make a lot of money. What do you know about tomorrow? How can you be so sure about your life? It is nothing more than mist that appears for only a little while before it disappears. You should say, if the Lord lets us live, we will do these things. And then I'm gonna read the last two bit. Yet you are stupid enough to brag, and it is wrong to be so proud. If you don't do what you know is right, you have sinned. And again, and I wanted to read because I hadn't read these verses because she just showed it to me. But I thought it was important to read that because again, those last two, you are stupid enough to brag, and it is wrong to be so proud. If you don't know what you know is right, you have sinned, because you're taking only like the power rests with us. The power don't rest with us. So how do we know? How do we stand? We stand because he stands in us. How do I become Gloria? I'm Gloria because he rests in me.
He rests in me.
You see, and that's the reason with the baby. It's something about my first cousin's grandbaby, because I never seen that child before, but it was peace. It was peace. And I'm not around a lot of children, and most times they don't. Sometimes they come to me, sometimes they don't, because I'm not really around children. But there was something there. It's the God in him. It's the God in him. And other people, they may say, oh, he's a good baby, because he was a good baby and all that heat. But it's more than that. It's something about that baby. So I guess what I want to leave you with, now that Mama has shown us where Grandmama got, say it, Mama, because I butchered what I said.
If the Lord let me live and keep my health and strength and stay clothed in my right mind, tomorrow I'll handle that for you. Or tomorrow I'm going to go here, yonder, and there. But it's if the Lord let me live.
Yeah.
And you got to remember, you can live and not have clothes in your right mind and good health. So she put all that in there. And when I was reading the Bible, I found it. I said, oh, here it is.
And like I said,
daddy?
yes, my daddy. We'll get him in a minute because he don't know we recorded. It's just my daddy calling out. And so anyway, like I said, it's all about how you view things. And like I said, I always told Mama that Grandmama got the stuff from the Bible because I could see the biblical components of it as we'd be having our dialogue back and forth. So I want to leave you, the audience, with this. Stand. And understand what you stand for and understand who allows you to stand.
Stand for the righteous.
As Mama says, stand for the righteous.
What is right.
Understand that God has to be in you in order to stand. We don't just deal with what we deal with in our lives and in our jobs and our families and just out in the world just by happenstance. There has to be something greater in you that holds you up. Because we can't do it on our humanness.
So you've been hurt up a whole lot of people.
Oh, what you talking about? Because, I'm Teresa. Sometimes I'm tall, sometimes I'm Dr. Smith, but I'm Teresa, first of all. So, again, there's something greater in me. Not trying to be braggadocious. And we should be okay that there's something greater in people. Because if it wasn't in them, imagine what they would do to you.
Oh, yes.
Imagine what you do to some people. If it wants something greater in you. Because sometimes you just don't be up for taking that no more. But because he dwells in you, you can live to face another day. Because he lives, and I love that song, so now that's going to be in my brain. Because he lives, I can face tomorrow because he lives. All fear is gone? Because I know he holds the future. He holds the future. And Mama, I'm going to end on he holds the future because he holds the future.
He does.
And I'm just so glad that I took the lead that he dropped in on me this morning, and it just lined right up with what you have been thinking about because we hadn't communicated because I never tell her what we're going to talk about because I want it to be organic and I want him to shine within both of us, and we want to get these lessons that Mama know that Grandmama gave her, that I'm still learning these lessons too. So, Miss Gloria?
Yes.
Anything else you want to say to the audience before I sign us off?
No, but thank you for listening to us.
Well, Mama said thank you for listening to us, and we do appreciate your being with us. And until next time, before you go taking care of somebody else, please make sure you take care of yourself first. Bye now. Mama in her queen way. I tell you, I got to start doing it like that too, because that's the way Mama does it. Yeah. See y'all. Bye.
Bye-bye.